Hey guys, Ethan from Real Life English here with another really kick-ass English lesson for you. Actually, today's lesson is not so much about the English language as much as it is about how English learners should act. If you are learning English, it is definitely to your benefit to learn how to be a good global citizen. This is going to help you with connecting with people from other places, all over the world, with traveling, of course, with using the language, and not making an ass of yourself. So I just got back to the United States. I was recently in Thailand for a couple months. As many of you may know, I was actually living there in a place called Chiang Rai, and I really disappointed myself during this time. Why? Because normally I am an excellent global citizen, if I do say so myself. And in Thailand, I did everything I would say that a global citizen should not do. And so I wanted to share my experience with you so that you might learn what should global citizens do? How do you be a good global citizen? And what do I normally do when I travel or go live in a new place? So I'm going to kind of contrast my experience living in Thailand along with Bali, where I just was in Indonesia before returning to the United States. Alright guys, let's jump into the 6 things not to do when trying to be a global citizen. So, number 1. The first thing that a global citizen should not do is not learn the language. So that's exactly what I didn't do in Thailand. I only learned enough very basic Thai to get by. So this would be like I learned some numbers so that I could ask prices when I go to the market, so that I could not pay kind of like a foreigner's price. I learned basically how to say hello, good morning, excuse me, sorry, and that's about it. I could not even have the most basic conversation with any Thai person. I basically could just smile and wave. So that's the first really terrible thing that I did. Being an English learner, a lot of times English is enough. When you travel, you can meet a lot of people who speak good English and you connect with them through this. English is my first language. I have that benefit, obviously, but I think that it's not enough, and I always try to challenge myself when I go to a new place to learn a little bit of the language so that I can connect with the locals. And I did a much better job of doing this before going to Bali. I kind of learned maybe 10-20 phrases to get me started, and then I would ask people there how to say different things so I could at least initiate a conversation in Indonesian before switching to English right off the bat. And I found that when you do this, even if you just speak a little bit of the basics, people really appreciate you making the effort to learn their language. So even as an English learner, don't make the excuse that you speak English. Try to learn a little bit of basics of the local language so that you can connect more with the locals. So, number 2. I didn't learn anything about Thai history. I still know almost nothing about Thai history, and this is a mistake that I believe people make all the time when they travel or go live abroad. A lot of people make the excuse that, oh, I'll learn the history when I get there, or, oh, why should I learn it anyway? It's not really that important for learning the language. However, I would highly disagree with this. Knowing something about the history of the place that you're going to, of the place that you might be living in, is crucial for learning the language because it really helps you understand why people are as they are today in that country. And I would also say that it's something a little extra that helps you to connect with the locals. So don't make the excuse that you don't need to know anything about the history. Just open up Wikipedia entry about that country and learn the 30-second basic introduction to that country's history so you won't make an ass of yourself when you're in the country. Alright, so number 3 would be judging people based on your own cultural values. This is something that I believe I did too much in Thailand, and again, I'm really disappointed with myself because I'm usually quite good at being very non-judgmental, of giving people the benefit of the doubt. The benefit of the doubt means that you basically give people an excuse. You give them a free pass to do something because maybe it's something that you don't understand. So I didn't give Thai people generally the benefit of the doubt when they would do something that I didn't understand. An example of this, of something that really frustrated me there, which was silly, is that people take a lot of selfies. They would go to places like these beautiful cafes. There are many beautiful cafes in Thailand, by the way. and they would spend the whole time just taking pictures of themselves, taking pictures of their food, their coffee, and not actually enjoying the environment. And I didn't take the time to really understand what might be the history behind this or the cultural explanation for why people are really obsessed with taking pictures of themselves. I never asked anyone or really put in the time or the effort to understand why people were like this. I just got frustrated, which it hurts me, it doesn't help anyone. So always giving people the benefit of the doubt, being non-judgmental, being very patient, putting yourself in other people's shoes. It really benefits you as a person, as a global citizen, as a human being, to try to understand other people's worldviews. So number 4, which will help with all of these things, is of course making local friends. Either friends that speak English, or if you are making the effort to learn the local language, maybe someone that is going to be helping you to learn it, and obviously you need someone who is a bit patient while you are learning it. So when I was in Thailand, I made 0 local friends, unfortunately, which I really missed out on a huge opportunity, I think. Again, not just to connect with the local culture, but to connect with people who have a different life experience from me. This is one of the big benefits of global citizenship, is that you get to see how people all over the world, through their different experiences, their different points of views, kind of grow up and how they see the world. So it's a big regret of mine that I didn't make any local friends. I'm sure with a little bit of effort, just by being a little bit more friendly, smiling at more people, and putting myself out there to start more conversations and meet more people, I could have very easily have made some local friends, which would have helped me to learn more all about the culture and be a better global citizen. All right, so number 5 is a very crucial thing when you go to a new place. If you learn nothing else from this video, I would say this is extremely important for everything else you're going to hear. It's being curious and asking a lot of questions. So obviously, when you learn the local language or you find people who speak English, you learn about the history, you are non-judgmental and patient, and you make local friends, it becomes much easier to be curious because you're just more motivated to learn more about the place that you are at. I did a much better job in Bali of this than I did when I was in Thailand. And I actually had the benefit there that I already had a friend, and so I was able to connect with her and some of her friends. But we also just would be kind of curious when we would go in the taxi, for example. We would ask the driver, about what else he did in Bali. We would ask him about the local holiday that was happening when we were there. And it was just interesting to get to know people's points of views again, to experience a little bit about how people there live lives, and to imagine a little bit like, what would my life be like if I had grown up in Bali? And this is something that I always love when I travel. I like to ask myself, like, I wonder what my life would be like if I had grown up in Bali, if I had grown up in Japan, if I grew up in Spain. And I think this is something that global citizens do. They kind of imagine their life through the lens of many different cultures. And that'll bring me to number 6, which is getting fascinated by the local culture. And obviously we talked about this a little bit. The history is a big part of this, and all of the other things that I've already said, 1 through 5, contribute a lot to this. Learning about the local culture really gives you an entirely new, higher level of appreciation for the place that you are visiting or that you're living in. And this could be things like taking a dance class, taking a cooking class, if you play an instrument, maybe finding a jam session and going to play guitar with the locals or singing with the locals, or even just listening to music and appreciating it with the locals. And of course, this can contribute to you meeting new people who are going to help you with all the other things on this list. So I know a lot of people tend to travel to new places and they get too comfortable by just talking to other foreigners or by just talking to people from their own country. I know I did this in Thailand. It was very out of character for me. I feel like I missed out on a huge opportunity to experience a new place, to experience a new culture, to really understand a new, different worldview from my own, and to take up my global citizenship, so to speak. So that said, I feel like I've learned a huge lesson. I will not be making these mistakes again when I go to visit a new place. I hope that you have learned something about this and that you will take consideration of these lessons that I learned next time you visit another country, speak to someone from another country, or if you ever go live abroad or are living abroad right now. So I would really appreciate it if you learned anything in this video, if you found anything interesting in this video, if you would like it. And of course, I would love it if you would share your experience. Do you have any stories about when you were a really good global citizen, when you were a really bad global citizen? Share them below and let's start a conversation around this topic. I can't wait to hear what you guys say. So remember to go out there and kick ass with your English, kick ass with your global citizenship, and I will see you guys very soon. Aw, yeah.